Welcome back to Caribou Data Science channel. This is part two of my initial uh, of my analysis, my initial analysis and setup for the Washington University's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation Data Sets, which consists of something like we can look at right here. As you recall in part two, okay, as you recall in part two. Um, in part one, basically, we did an initial examination of the data sets. Then there's one, two, three, four data sets, and an excellent sort of you know explanation of what the data is. And the data is, and the data, like I say, four data sets. They all they with lots of columns and lots of data. Okay. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm actually going to create an R script to import the data into a new SQLite database. Okay. Now we could of course I could have of course used uh, for health metrics and education dot R oops, db okay. Let's let's see. Let's see. Okay. And of course I'm struggling here whether or not I should use whether whether I should use an R markdown file or not and do the initial analysis with. But let's just do this right now. Library R SQLite. Let's see. GPOs.2. And let's see. Oh, yes. Of course, I may not actually dawn any databases with this. So let's come back over here. Let's just grab a couple of files. Let's see. Well, let's come back over here. Let's come back down here. Let's look at this right here. Okay, so we need to initially load the data. Like I say, we're going to start out with a separate database. We're going to call this new database. Let's see, Institute for Health Metrics and Education. Okay. Now, first of all, let's just read it. The data should import okay. Um, the data should import okay. Well, let's come down here and let's find out where we actually. Okay. Okay, so we're simply going to come in here. Well, actually, this goes up here. No, it doesn't go up there. It goes down here. So let's just do some initial data. Look here. Let's see. Okay, we're going to name these tables something really significant like best. Let's just do this right now. Best. So we're going to name this cryptically BMH, best hospital mask for right now. Okay, I'm going to come down to here. Now, is that the only thing of this that has the word mask in it? Okay, so we could just say, let's just leave it right there for right now, honestly. BM hospital mask. Okay, and because this database doesn't exist, it should create it. Okay, because, so let's just come down here. Now, we could, of course, do something like, oh, I don't know. You know what let's do? Let's just do a names here. So we can get an idea of VHN, of what fields are actually here. Okay? So now let's do a, oops, no, data. And let's look at the second reference hospitalization. So let's call this FSP. Let's just call it FHOSP. And by the way, this table here, okay, this will overwrite the table every time I run the script. Let's do this. P R F H U S P P. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's just call this one something really funky like sum stats. Better yet, let's just call it stats. Okay, okay, this is a nice name. That's not a very nice name for a table. Okay, so what we can do here is, okay, so this should be it for all our database read statements. And all I'm doing, I'm following up. I'm reading the I'm creating a data table. I'm looking at the names of the data table. Okay, and then I'm writing the data table out all the way down there. So at this point, I don't really need these. Maybe I'll use them in a minute. We'll see. Okay, so let's just come up here. Let's come down here. Okay, so if we run this all at once, what happens here? Well, let's get to the list of tables again. Get list tables. Let's run this now. Okay, so there's the tables. Obviously, as you can see here, these, let's do one other thing. Let's take a look at, as you can see, these things have a lot of fields. Probably too much fields in my opinion, but that's a different matter altogether. Do they all have a date? Okay. So let's look at another database. Okay, so now we can see okay, but look at this. There's 129,000 rows. Alrighty now. Location global. That's not a very good name. So let's do something very simple here. So, okay. Now what we could do is, okay, stats. Once again, lots of names. Now, let's do one other thing here. Let's replace all the spaces with underscore, making sure there's nothing that's going to affect this. Okay? Hmm. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. So these look okay. What we can do over here is we could say Summary. Date. Replace this. Hmm. Okay, well, let's just say so that takes care of our initial analysis, our initial date. Let's do this. Once we write the table, we come back down and say BHM date. Okay. So we should be able to come down here. There's one. Okay. I mean, is there some initial analysis we could do? Yeah, probably. Now you notice up here, it says this appears to have a single. That's kind of strange. Really composite. I don't know what that is. Observe. Uh, a single date field. But this one here has multiple date fields. So if you try to do something, then you have to go back and put all these dates. Worse, single date field. NAs, NAs. Not quite sure why those are NAs for. Unless there's something crazy in the way they're being imported. That's hard to say. But anyway, so this concludes part two, where we simply create the MySQL database. Okay. Okay. Now, what else? What else could we do to examine the data here? We could, of course, do summary fields. Just a good look at the data. Okay. Some of the fields are, some of the date fields won't print correctly, but let's just do a little summary work here. Okay. Now, the problem, of course, is that now, as you can see, that there's a lot of data here. At some point, we have to make decisions. I'm not sure what V1 is. Location is generally the name of the country or state. Here's the date. You can see minimum date of February 4th, maximum date of January 1st, 2021. Location IDs, deaths mean, this is the big thing here, deaths, minus 94, average number of deaths per day, that would be 49. The deaths lower, the mean lower deaths would be 43. Deaths upper, total death mean, total death lower, total death upper, deaths mean smooth. Well, smooth would just be like a low S curve, or any type, a rolling average would be a stiff of a smooth. Deaths lower smooth, deaths upper smooth, total deaths smooth, total lower deaths smooth, total upper deaths smooth, mobility date, what that is, mobility composite, test data, total test, confirmed infections, estimated infections mean, estimated infections lower, total population, deaths mean per 100,000 rate, deaths lower one. So you can see these data fields have a lot of information on it. Honestly, most of which is over my head. Okay, so RF. This is what the reference hospitals. What this is. Once again, lots and lots of data. And lots of rows. You can see here that the first one has 130,000 rows. Next has 129,000 rows. Stats has 390 rows. All right. Worst has 130,000 rows. Okay. So this is the reference hospital. All beds mean, all beds lower, all beds upper. ICU beds mean, ICU beds lower, ICU bed upper, and so forth and so forth. Okay. Now this isn't particularly well. I shouldn't say it. Take a look. Location, peak bed daily mean, peak bed lower, peak bed upper, peak ICU bed by day mean. So these are a lot of averages as daily means. Beds, ventilators, ICU capacity, ICU sheets. So what we're looking for here is are we seeing a decline, obviously, in the bed usage? Okay. Now does this have a date field? Mention of stats doesn't have a date field, which is really kind of annoying. Oh man. Now we could plot any one of these things here, but what we have here is we have some dates here. All right. A lot of this stuff here is dates. All bed capacity, all ICU capacity, all bed usage, ICU bed usage, available, start date, ICU bed day upper. These are all dates. All bed capacity, ICU bed capacity, all bed usage. So what you would look for would be you would look for you would look for the all bed usage field. Okay, all bed capacity. Okay, available ICU. Stay at home start date. So these must be dates also. All right. So that was who? Stats. Now, once again, let's take a look here. This is kind of strange. Where's hospitalization? Location name. This is usually a state or something like that. The date that the date, the location, the dates. That's mean. That's lower. That's upper. Total deaths mean. Total deaths lower. Total deaths upper. Deaths mean. Smooth. Lots and lots of good stuff here. It's almost too much of a good thing in it. Okay, so I'm gonna call this second part an end. We imported the data. We've created a database. We looked at some summary stats. Haven't begun doing the analysis yet. There's just way too much data to look at here to really figure out what's going on right now. But anyway, hopefully, hope this example of how to create a database from a data frame is helpful to you. Just as a reminder, SQLite does not have a date field, so therefore you have to make sure when the date field is actually a character field in order for it to write it onto SQLite, which is why when I come down here, I convert it back to a date field. Okay. Okay. Well, thanks so much for your time today, and we'll catch you on the latest report a little later on. Thanks so much.